Hey everyone, it's Penny with Specialty Outdoors, and I've been promising a video showing some of my favorite tools of destruction. Those of you that know me know that I hate seam rippers. I don't even own a seam ripper. I haven't used a seam ripper in 20 years, and I feel like there's better ways, more efficient ways to take things apart. I first learned about the single-edged razor blade when I was fortunate enough to get a tour of the North Face repair facility many years ago, and it's kind of blew my mind on how efficient this is. This is just your standard garden variety hardware store single-edged razor blade. They come in boxes of 100 wrapped like this, and I use a little plastic holder. I like the ones, you see how it comes right to the edge there. Some of them have a little buckle there, and then you can't get close to things. But before I want to get any further, the usual caveats apply. Single-edged razor blades and scalpels are dangerous tools. It's up to you to learn how to use them correctly. This video is not for guidance, it's for education and information only. Be smart about this. Don't let your children near these things. Be careful when you're doing it. Practice. Never go towards yourself. Always work away from yourself. So let me show you how I do this. All right. There's any number of different kinds of seams you can use a single-edged razor blade on, and I'll show you a couple of them. This is a top-stitched piece of Cordura. We've got 2 pieces of fabric. This is kind of stiff, it's easy, it's very well delineated at the seam. But what you do is you can just get the edge of the razor blade under the edge of the folded fabric, and it's almost like a shaving motion. And again, I've been doing this for 20 years, so I have a lot of practice. But you kind of can feel that you're staying in the seam line and not cutting your fabric. And voila, we just cut that all apart. You can also work away. This is what I recommend. And sometimes you need to tension the fabric a little bit, pull it apart with both your hands. You see how it's like almost a little shaving motion. And this is 2 layers of a Tex 27 thread, I think. But you can see how just by using a little bit of shaving, you can take the seam apart really quick. And then, of course, the trusty old thumbnail or tweezers to pull the stitches out. Let me do another one on a different kind of fabric. So this sample here is a piece of soft shell top stitched onto a YKK zipper tape. You've got 2 or 3 rows of stitching on here, depending on where I'm working. And again, the same principles apply. You just want to secure the end, and you can start shaving it. This time I'm pulling back the softer layer. With knits, you do have to be a little bit careful that you're not deforming the fabric by pulling too hard. You can also tension it with both hands. I've done that for so long. My arthritis doesn't let me do that so much, so I try and use a third hand to pull it along. But you can see I'm just shaving to undo the stitching, and then you just gotta get rid of the junk. I'm going to add in another little bit about using the razor blade. This is a serged seam, just a test I made somewhere. But another way that I use this technique is I use 2 hands to hold the seam open, and then just shave it along, and kind of readjust as you go. we got a second seam here, so I can do the second seam. So I was just using this as a test with some different fabrics. Anyway, you get the idea. I just did all of that. Nice big long piece with the razor blade. Practice these techniques. There's a lot of hand positioning and tensioning involved. And here I have the surgical scalpel. It's got a very, very, very sharp, very pointy, very dangerous razor blade on the end. They also make little curved blades for it. I got this off of eBay for about $10 with like 20 different 20 packages of the blades to go with it. Very, very efficient, very sharp, very dangerous. So be really careful, and I want you to practice before you go after your main project. Same idea here with the scalpel. I find it's really important to either have a clamp or secure your fabric under the zipper foot like I have here, because that will make it go better. I have the point away from me for sure with this one, and I can just slide it between my layers. And cut the stitching. You know, you do want to make sure you're not nicking your fabric somehow. And let's make this a bit flatter there. Do you see how I put the flat part under the presser foot? And up here near the top, I've got 3 rows of stitching. And then sometimes, you'll see I can take it with my hand facing away from me. If you have eyes like mine, you might want to put on your magnifying glasses. And sometimes you need to work the stitches just a few at a time. But I've actually, using the razor blade and the scalpel, I've actually learned how to, I can cut apart bar tacks on backpacks and things like that just by looking very carefully and cutting just the stitches. You know, when you put a little bit of tension on your fabric, you can see the stitch that you need to cut. And I find that using either the scalpel or the razor blade, occasionally assisted by a pair of sharp scissors, is really a fast way to go. Have fun. Until next time. Oh, and be safe. So just practice these techniques. There's a lot of hand positioning and tensioning the fabric with your hands, or with, you know, something like a third hand clamp or binder clip clamp or the presser foot of your machine. Tension and hand position. I find that you'll get really fast once you get the hang of it.